I'm Katie Porter Roberts, and I am a member of the Swampscott School Building Committee. And I am here to meet with some of our representatives from the firms that will be helping to build our new school. And they're going to talk about what are elements of an elementary school building. What could this building look like? So, hello. My first question is, what are some of the benefits with working with the MSBA? What are we getting by collaborating with them?
There are so much to say. MSBA is an amazing organization, and with that, they set a very high standard for quality, as well as durability and sustainability. And their involvement ensures that this building will be one that will last a minimum of 50 years.
That sounds pretty great.
Yes, definitely.
As part of this project, we had an educational visioning group. What is that and why is that important?
So the truth is, towns don't build new schools very often. Really, it's every 50 years a town will go to the trouble and expense of building a new school. So it is important to, before you enter that process, to take a step back and really define what it is that you want your school to be. We know that students learn in many different ways. They don't just sit in class desks in a row and stare at a chalkboard anymore. Teaching is different now. It's collaborative, it's team teaching, it's independent learning. And the space that we build, the classrooms and the auxiliary spaces, can all play a role and be a tool in that learning environment. So we have New Vista, which is an educational planning company, doing visioning sessions to develop what are called patterns of learning for this community. So in other words, we're getting the data from your teachers, your staff, your students, your parents on how your kids learn. And then we're taking that and we're creating a spatial embodiment so that elementary schools today are ready for 21st century learning conditions.
I like that, the building as a teacher.
Yeah.
So people do think of students in rows when they think of a classroom. What do modern elementary classrooms look like? What is that like?
Great question. So teaching takes place everywhere. It takes place not just in the classroom, but around the classroom. And sometimes the best spaces are breakout spaces, are flexible spaces that are classroom adjacent, but actually not in the classroom themselves. And in this picture, you can see this is a flexible multi-purpose use space where students can learn as a group, yet you can see directly into the classroom. So there's all eyes on the students at all times. And it's sort of a feeder space. It's where multiple classrooms can come together and learn from one another if they so choose. And again, it's made of durable material. You can put any kind of furniture in that space, and students can learn however the teacher sees fit.
How can the outdoors be incorporated into the design?
Students are very curious, particularly the young ones, and that kind of curiosity is something that we really want to enhance and cherish. And so we try to foster that creativity inside, but also outside. Students who are inside often peer out the windows and they want to go be in that environment. And so if we can just create something, and we do have a landscape architect, she's wonderful on the team, who will basically carefully design an outdoor classroom space so that we can take the kids outside and they can learn in the elements, not just in a stuffy classroom.
As a STEM teacher, that means a lot to me.
As a STEM teacher, you like that.
Speaking as a STEM teacher, what is a project-based learning space? What does that look like in an elementary school?
Well, I just talked about kids and creativity, and the truth is they need room to get a little bit messy. And so what these kinds of spaces are is anything you want them to be. They're spaces where kids can just get creative. And that might mean doing more technical things, or it might mean just getting dirty with a bunch of glue and paper. Basically, whatever curriculum that the STEM teacher comes up with, this is a space to truly support that. So,
also aligned with STEM, how can the building address the needs of 21st century learners?
Well, there's so much more available to our kids now than there were 50, 60, 70 years ago when your current schools were built. And part of that is independence. So in this image here, we see a young child giving a little mini presentation to the students around him. And this is a wonderful example of the different kinds of teaching that can be enabled in newer buildings. So in a space like this, not only can students start to exemplify some of these tools, but you can also bring in parents and give presentations to their parents. The teachers themselves could use this for staff reasons. 21st century learning basically tries to remove some of the boundaries and the confines of a traditional classroom.
I love how you said independence, and then I was just thinking back to the picture of the classroom with the glass walls and everything.
Yeah.
It's so great because the kids can be independently working out there, but the teacher's watching them, or they're seeing what's happening in other classrooms, and it's just.
Students today learn from one another, and so I would not say that gone are the days where the teacher is at the front of the room. Of course, that's still much the case, but in this example, you can see that the student is actually teaching his peers, and that sort of reciprocal learning is something that a new building, something that architecture, spatially, we can accommodate and help the kids with not just learning, but confidence.
And all these spaces to move around, and it's probably seem really great for elementary school
All the
students
flexible
too,
furniture
right?
and
Like,
seating, yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned parent meetings in a space like this. What are some of the elements that can be added that could serve not just the students, but also the community as a whole?
Great question. Traditionally, schools were built where the gym was also the assembly space and the cafeteria and the presentation space. Now we know that it's best for students to have their own separate cafeteria. But the truth is, the cafeteria is only functioning a few hours a day. So in a space like this, you can think of it as a multi-purpose space where students can eat during the appropriate lunch hour, but when they're not using it, what else could it be? It can be an event space for the kids to have a performance, so it's designed with the correct acoustics, or it could be an event space for the community. And you can design it within the building such that it's securely separate from the school, so that while school is in session, you can also have public events and everybody is safe. There's no public entering in and out of the actual school itself. They can go directly to this building or this portion of the building.
And one of the images that your firm showed, there was an innovation space, which actually included, I think, the art room and the project-based learning space in part of this envelope that you could create for the community to use, which
That's
actually
right.
offered even more spaces for the community.
Multipurpose is what it needs to be. If you design it with true flexibility, then it really can work for all kinds of different events, not just school-specific, but the community as well.
Well, thank you so much for being here and explaining that for us. I'm so excited about the prospect of a new elementary school for Swampscott, and I am looking forward to speaking more about it. Please stay tuned, and please come to the Swampscott School Building website for updates.
You're like a pro.
Yeah, do this.
Like
You do this
unbelievable,
well.
right?
God. Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
needed a Bloody Mary before this.
Oh.
Can we just do your outro one more time so when Ms. Porter speaks and thanks everyone?
Yep.
Oh.
Just into the look at the camera.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Was I not at the camera?
No, it was our fault, so we're just gonna do.
Oh, I'm like, girl, you told me I didn't do it. I did it.
Okay, whenever she's ready.
All right.
Okay. Ready?
Well, thank you so much for that. It's really exciting to hear about the prospects and the potentials of a new elementary school. I know I am very much looking forward to that. Thank you for joining us, and please stay tuned. Please stay updated. Come visit the Swampscott School Building Committee website so you can stay updated, and stay tuned for more of these videos.